Mike Top, Tampa Bay, let's roll, it's game day. Rays on the diamond, bolts in the sky, Bucks on the goal line, Bulls ride or die. From the tailgate talk to the bright field glow, you know where to go. It's the JP Peterson Show. Hey!
Oh, man, and what a show we got for you kids today. Woo! I'm very excited about putting this thing together. Came together very well last night.
Why am I even here today?
Make sure everything runs smooth because we don't want me to screw it all up, Timmy. And we got the 5 minutes here before we hop on with Ken Hagan to go over the day's happenings. And then we'll talk to Ken. And then we have Ken Babby, Rays CEO, at 10:35. And then Alan Clendenin, chairman of the city council, will join us at 11:15. And we'll get the perspectives from the two governing bodies that are going to vote on this, and also from the CEO, Ken Babby, who has been brilliantly orchestrating this from the very beginning. And I spoke with Ken a little bit this morning, Ken Babby, and we've got lots to get to today. I want to, right off the bat, full disclosure, I know there's a lot of buzz out there that we're going to announce something grand today. That is not going to happen. This is a stadium update, as we said, but we are very close. I will announce this. This is a big deal. The city and county are coming together with the Rays to meet today. So this is a big, big deal. It's a big, big meeting. We'll talk about with all the principals what's going to go on today, what they hope to accomplish. So in that way, we're breaking some news. And so, yes, this is a very big day after this. After they take care of this business, then they're going to the real business that will be taking place. So we will talk a little bit about that. Now, right off the bat, got a shout out to my man, Jackson Suber. Big friend of the show, grew up at Palmacia Golf Club where I'm a member, and it is the heart of South Tampa. This is our guy. This is an incredible story. No mention of it anywhere in the Times, but that's okay. He was leading the Open Championship after round one with a 65. He's played 27 holes of links golf in his life. Never been to Europe. He got ready for this by looking up all the holes on Royal Birkdale on YouTube. So that's how he did it, and went out and shot a freaking 65 in round one. He's already played round two, followed that up with a 69, leading the Open, sleeping on that, and then going under par. Probably a little bit nervous on the front nine. He shot 3 over on the front nine, but came back with 4 birdies on the back to get to 1 under and followed up with a 69, Timmy. That's good golf for a kid that's really never played links golf. How about that?
Yeah, links golf is hard. For those of you that don't know, it is completely different than what Jackson used to playing in Florida and throughout the States. It is an entirely different
for
game.
Palmacia. Yes.
Yeah.
Although you do need to run the ball up quite a bit. But so an incredible performance by him. 69 today. We'll see how he does on the weekend. He's been playing terrific golf. He's been in the hunt at the Canadian 4 or 5 tournaments here in the last month and a half. He's number 5 on the tour in greens and regulation. Number 1 in hitting par 5s and 2. There's only 2 par 5s out there, but having a great Open. So congrats to him. And the Rays, of course, will be on the diamond tonight, back at it at 1:35 today, a doubleheader in Boston. Griffin Jacks takes the hill at 1:35. So it's right back to it. Obviously, they have the 3-game lead, and every time they've had the lead at the All-Star break in the AL East, they have won the division. They got a 98% chance of going to the playoffs. Junior's going to play in both games today, thank God. And we'll talk to Babby about sitting there watching his superstar lay on the ground. Oh, can only imagine.
Is there anything better than a baseball doubleheader, man? We used to do a lot more of those. Right? They just don't happen anymore. I remember going to doubleheaders at Old Arlington Stadium as a kid. Yeah. Pay $8, get in both games,
Or both games. Yeah, they'll
be there all day.
I'm sure there'll be 2 separate tickets at 1:35. But what a day in Boston, right? You go to 1:35, go over to the Cask and Flag out by left field, and then jump back in for game 2. Yeah, that's against two. The Rays are in first place. The Red Sox have won 9 in a row. So let's get right to it, and hopefully you hope for a split, or you hope for a sweep today, but you'll take a split. You don't want to drop 2. So that's where we're at. All right, let's get right to it and bring in the chairman of the county commission, Ken Hagan, joining us here, the Hitman. What's up, Kenny? How are you, partner?
All good. Game day every day. You hear JP?
Yeah,
I gotta say, I got a kick out of the introduction when you had the three faces up there. I gotta tell you, me and Alan and Ken, those are three faces only a mother could love. Okay, so
it was definitely not a hair commercial.
Yeah,
it's
no, certainly not.
I would be in that one as well. That too.
We are all follically challenged. There's no doubt about that. So
isn't it great?
But you know what? That doesn't matter when you're trying to build a stadium and in a $10 million mixed use project. So that's away we go. I should have known this, but do you know Jackson Suber at all and his dad John?
I met Jackson at one of the Valspar championships because he's played over there a few times, but I can't say that I know him, but I'm enormously proud of him. I mean, like you said, first time playing in Europe, only played a couple rounds of links golf. And I know you've played over there the last couple of years. I've played in Ireland and Scotland, and it's a little challenging to say the least.
It's a little different game to have never played a competitive round of links golf and lead the British Open. I mean, that's quite the feat.
I think he's in second. He's in second place now, right?
Yeah, he shot 69 today. He's 2 shots behind Herbert, who almost had a 59 today. Came out of nowhere. So guys are going to go low today. So he's definitely not going to have the lead, but obviously a chance to win a major is incredible. He's been playing great golf. So obviously, Gary Koch never won a major. He won 6-7 times on tour, but I don't know if he had anybody from Tampa that's. We had Azinger that obviously has won a major. But anyway, congrats to him. Let's get to some baseball talk here. First and foremost, you're a baseball fan. How much are you enjoying watching this Rays team? 5 All-Stars, 18 games over 500, leading it by 3 over the mighty Yankees. What a season. I didn't see this coming. I don't know about you, but I didn't see this coming.
I don't know if anyone did. I mean, maybe Ken Babby will say that he did, but I know I certainly didn't. I always go to a lot of games. I think I've been to 8 or 9 so far this year, and it's also nice to see us get the respect on the national stage. I mean, to have 5 of our guys represent the team at the All-Star game was truly was awesome.
Yeah, it was fun to watch, except for that moment when Junior got beamed in the hand.
Yeah, I was pleased that the very next morning I spoke with Ken because he was in Philadelphia for the All-Star game, and I spoke to him about 7:30. And my very first question was, "How's Junior?" And he said that he spoke to him the night before, and that Junior said that he would be in the lineup for both games on Friday. So I felt much better after hearing that from Ken.
All right, so now we got to build him a home, a forever home here, Ken. Just give me an update from you. We haven't talked in a while. I know you guys are having a big meeting today. Where's your confidence level right now in terms of getting this done?
Confidence level is extremely high. Our goal is to have something in front of us in August. Really, it should have happened a couple of months ago. But to our staff's credit, to the team's credit, to the city's credit, we've been meeting at least 2 or 3 times every week in an effort to resolve the 2 or 3 issues that are still outstanding. And then on the Rays side, and I'm sure Ken will be able to provide a little bit more intel when you speak with him today, they're really trying to determine to what extent the city's going to be engaged in the deal. I mean, they've had challenges from day one with getting support, whether it's on the CRA front or the CIT front. And really, they don't have the option of waiting very much longer. And so I think they are determining the best route, the quickest route, whether it means including the city in the entire deal, if it's at a reduced capacity, or if it's essentially going around the city altogether. And so that a little bit uncertain on which particular route the Rays are going to elect to go. But that being said, every effort is being made to have something in front of our board sometime in August.
So whether the city participates in it or not, does that affect the county vote? I mean, I know it was 5-2 for the non-binding memo. How does that work?
Well, first and foremost, I always say, I'll never speak for another commissioner or where he or she thinking or how they may vote in the future. But my instincts tell me that irrespective of how much the city is involved, I don't think it will impact the county ultimately voting to move forward with the project. I can't say with 100% certainty. Again, I'm not going to speak for any other elected official, but of course, recognizing the fact that the ballpark's in the city has a very little percentage-wise of the investment. They're going to reap an enormous part of the benefits of the investment.
Yep.
And so from that perspective, it is a little frustrating to see how short-sighted the city council is, and how they're unable to see the big picture. And again, not every member, obviously, but for them to really to be struggling to see the value and the long-term ROI of this project is just beyond frustrating.
Yeah. Ken, the property tax thing kind of popped up after your vote. Didn't pop up, but there was some talk, and I know presentations were made at a county meeting. Do you think that will affect where your county vote is? I mean, obviously, we've talked about this. I mean, to me, if it goes through and you're going to be looking for revenue, and you're going to be looking for investment vehicles to bring in more revenue, you will never find one that could possibly bring in more revenue than this particular vehicle. So with the Rays, to me, it shouldn't matter either way if I were a councilman. In fact, if it does pass, I would definitely want to do this because obviously the return on investment is there. Does the property tax, because if someone were to say, hey, we need to wait to see what happens with the property tax before we vote on this, is that something that's realistic or no?
You make an excellent point, and I certainly want to underscore that. First and foremost, I do want to acknowledge that the timing of the potential property tax reform is awful. The optics are terrible. There's no way around that. You can't sugarcoat that without a doubt. That being said, the way the financial framework is structured, property tax reform, should it happen, will have no impact on the actual framework, because almost all the money is either CIT or tourist tax development related. So it's not, property tax dollars. So that really, it won't impact the financial framework. But your point is.
Whoops. I think we have a frozen Ken Hagan. Did we lose
Ken? Oh, dear.
We'll try. Ken, if you can hear me, go back out and come back in, as Big O loves to say. There we go. You're back.
Recognizing that, it's going to impact homesteaded properties, we need to look at models for future development, similar to what we just moved forward with our Mosey project that I've championed for a number of years, with an indoor field house, and that field house is going to generate $2 billion of property tax revenue, non-homesteaded. So that will increase, that will help to fill the gap that we would lose from, property tax losses as a result of homesteaded properties not being captured anymore. So we're going to need more projects like that. And this is a perfect one, upwards of $10 billion. Almost all of it will be on the tax rolls. We'll be able to collect ad valorem taxes for that. So you do make an excellent point that certainly needs to be stressed.
Ken Hagan joining us here, County Chair. Ken, also, I see so much in the media in a lot of different places. They go and get these sports economists that have made their career out of dumping on stadium deals, and there have been a lot of bad stadium deals. Don't get me wrong, but the tide has turned on that, right? With public officials have figured out that the battery model works. And it's working tremendously well in Cobb County, which is exactly what you're trying to do, which is why Kansas City is doing the same thing. You see them all over, and all these other municipalities are lining up, hoping to God that you guys don't get this passed so they can come pilfer the Rays. So talk a little bit to the naysayers that say there's going to be zero economic impact. I literally heard his economists say there would be zero economic impact, an expert.
It's just idiotic.
It is.
First of all, not only have public officials recognized the need for development to be included, but as much or maybe more so, the private sector and the ownership groups have recognized that with the ballparks and stadiums becoming so expensive to finance, in order for them to meet their revenue goals, they need the development to occur. Same thing's happening in Chicago with the Bears, where they're looking. I mean, look at what Indiana is offering. I mean, it's incredible to what they're offering, not just for the ballpark, but for the development that will occur around the actual stadium. And like you had mentioned, what do we have? 7 or 8 cities or communities that are chomping at the bit. Yes. I mean, Orlando just made another play this week as far as wanting the Rays. I mean, are all these cities and elected officials, are they all just, idiots and don't see the
just
big
want to give away tax money to billionaires? That, Ken.
That's it. They're not fiscally conservative. It's no, I mean, the model that these so-called expert economists portray is one based simply on the ballpark itself.
Right.
I would push back on their opinion of the benefits of just a ballpark, first of all, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about an overall development project, which will be the largest in Hillsborough County's history. Again, from a private sector investment perspective, I think when you look at the numbers, it's larger or will be larger than Water Street and Midtown combined, if not larger, pretty damn close to it. And so when you look at the overall model and you look at all the revenue streams, in addition to the benefits that will occur, the new Hillsborough College, the police station that'll be there, investing in Al Lopez Park, in addition to other neighborhood amenities that's going to happen around the county, it really is a no-brainer. And so all the critics can really rely on is looking at just talking about the ballpark and the same. It's not going to subsidize billionaire owners, and they're not talking about investment. They're not talking about ROI. They're not talking about the additional revenue that will be generated as a result of the actual ballpark.
And Ken, I also see that, some people say, we don't want to give money to billionaires and like you're cutting a check to the Rays and they're going to put it in their back pocket. I mean, this money that you're putting out actually goes directly to build the ballpark, which goes to construction companies. And I know the Rays are going to try to use as many local companies as possible. So most of that money really just stays here in the marketplace, which is unusual when you guys spend tax dollars, right? I mean, this is staying right here, creating jobs.
Again, Ken can provide a more precise number, but upwards of 10,000 jobs will be created as a result of this. It's just beyond frustrating. And it's the same argument that I've heard time and time again. Many years ago, I championed, it's called the Estuary Development out in Brandon, but it's where Bass Pro Shops is. Yeah. And it's the same model, much smaller scale, admittedly, but we did a development agreement with the developer for, I think it was $7 million. And all we kept hearing is giving away to a billionaire owner, you're subsidizing a business. But that property, similar to HCC, was generating, I think, $800 of property tax revenue because it was green belted. Right. We gave $7 million for roads that were on our project list long term. We just accelerated them. And as a result, we got our money back within 2 years. And with the property tax dollars and the sales tax dollars that are generated, I want to say we're receiving probably close to $10 million a year for a $7 million investment. So
$10 million a year.
And I got the same criticism back then that we're getting now. Again, this is a much bigger stage. Dollars are a lot more. I get that. Yeah. But it's so many folks cannot see the big picture, cannot see long-term the economic benefits of this investment. And so I just learned that there are those that are just so myopic and so limited in that they're either so philosophically opposed to this that it doesn't matter what the ROI is. And so those you just kind of discard. I understand you're never going to change. But I think most folks, when you explain the actual deal and you explain the benefits of it, it's not just a ballpark. Most people are fairly open-minded or supportive. Yeah. I did the last couple of years for July 4th. I did the Lutz Parade up in my district. Very, very conservative part of the county. Yeah. It's not a Seminole Heights or something like that. I mean, these are hardcore conservatives. And every 10 feet, get the Rays here, get the Rays here. When are the Rays going to be here? So I believe when folks truly understand the deal, they're much more supportive than what than the naysayers and the critics that you all too often hear about.
Yeah, when I'm on social media, I went in a Hyde Park media or neighborhood group the other day and just made some comments. And I'm astounded at the lack of information and the misinformation that people have. They just, I know we talk about it all the time, probably too much, but I would think just the general public would have a better idea of how this thing is working, but it's still just a lot of, we shouldn't give money to billionaires. It's, it's just silly stuff that they don't understand. Is that frustrating for you?
It is, and a little bit surprising when you consider the extensive outreach that Ken Babby and the Rays have made, which is, again, unlike the previous regime. This group has been extremely transparent. They've had meeting after meeting, some large town halls, other more, business group meetings or Rotary Club meetings. I mean, throughout the county.
They've knocked on every door.
Look at all the outreach and the social media and the coverage. Again, not all the coverage has been positive, mind you, but you would think that there'd be a little better understanding out there. But let's hope it continues to get out to the public and they understand the big picture.
What do you hope to get done today at the meeting today? Are there any key crucial questions that with the Rays that you're trying to get answered?
Well, first of all, it's between the staffs and the county attorney and our attorneys and outside counsel and the city. So the electeds, myself, Mayor Castor, we won't actually be in the meeting, which is probably a good thing. But there are a couple unresolved issues and don't want to get too far into the weeds, but one of them involves the square footage of the overall development and what they're willing to guarantee. There's long-term capital improvements to the ballpark. It all goes down to my number one guiding principle throughout the 16 years that I've talked about this is protecting the taxpayers. And we are ensuring that the proper safeguards are in the definitive documents that does not put the taxpayer at risk. So that's first and foremost. And so whatever safeguards or mechanisms have to be in there. And it's not an easy task. When you look at the deliverables and the definitive documents, I think there's 6 or 7 of them. I'm told it could be upwards of 1,000 pages. Yeah, it's very complex. And I think by Ken's own admission, we're attempting to move at a much quicker pace than these deals normally take. And so our staff, to their credit, and our county attorney, who I think is brilliant and extremely smart and is a land use attorney by trade in the private sector and in the public sector. So she understands these big deals, loves working on these big deals. In addition to our outside counsel that we've brought in, they're being meticulous and going through every document and just making sure that we're protecting the taxpayer. So any question or issue that we're still debating or negotiating with, it all comes back to that principle. We have to protect the taxpayers.
Yeah. Do you have a feeling of when the whole build out will happen? Like, obviously in 29, they're going to open a stadium. You want to have the village around, at least part of it, that people can go to eat and drink and all those things, kind of the battery part of it. What's the build out schedule? And when do you think the county, the city, well, maybe just be the county, gets its money back? You get square in this deal. I mean, everything happened in Cobb County way sooner than they thought it would. The projections were very conservative and ended up being way off. They got positive, I think, in 7 years, and it was I think originally supposed to be something like 15. What do you think the correct projections are here?
Well, I want to say Ken will probably be in a better position to answer that, but I will say that my last conversation with Patrick about this is that they plan on the first phase opening at the same time as the ballpark. Okay. And so that was certainly comforting, refreshing to know. I personally know a couple of consultants that have been working with their design teams on the office building, on the residential. So, and I've seen some pictures, so I know that they are in design phase, or they're moving forward, opening the first phase of that. Now, as far as the next phase, again, I think Ken would be in a better spot to be able to answer that. So the point is, it won't just be the ballpark. It'll be a hotel. It'll be office complex. There'll be other amenities around there that will open, simultaneously with opening day.
Hey, any new information on possible light rail and federal dollars for that now that, this $10 billion project will be happening? Any sense on any new information on that?
No, not really. I will say that FDOT is engaged in the project. We know we have significant state dollars that are going to come that will actually improve the traffic flow in or around Raymond James Stadium in the ballpark. Folks are, that they use that as an excuse. Oh, traffic's going to get worse. Well, actually, I think it's going to get better because of the state investment in the infrastructure in and around there. I will tell you, from a federal level or rail level, in years past, as part of T-BARTA, which was a regional transit authority years ago, we went around and traveled to successful rail systems. And I was, what endured me to this was the actual economic development that occurred in or around the actual stations, if you will. Yeah. But what they all had in common was the rail went to your local university. It went to your local ballpark or stadiums, your employment centers, your business centers, and the airport.
Yeah.
And so when you consider the proximity of TIA, ballpark, and Ray J, and the density that will occur as a result, I think it's going to make it a prime candidate for some type of transit in the future. That's been one of our primary challenges, and I'm by no means an expert on the transportation or transit front, but your transit experts, your pro rail experts will tell you part of Tampa's challenges is the lack of density in order to support an actual system that occurs there. And what happens is, inevitably, you've got those, I'm sure this is in the city, just like the county, when everyone, is opposed to urban sprawl, they want infill development where the services are. But whenever we have a project that's in the urban core, you've got the NIMBYs, not in my backyard. And so they come out in opposition, and ultimately the elected bodies approve, let's say, half of what could legally be approved or go in the development. And the reality is, for a true transit system to work, we need to probably double or triple or quadruple the densities in order for it to be effective and long-term. So bottom line is, by having the increased development there, by having the residential there, will only strengthen the case for some type of transit in the future.
Yeah. All right. Last one. Let's have some fun with this. You saw the renderings, and I just love the whole concept, and we'll talk to Ken about this in a minute, of having an indoor ballpark feel very outdoor. The translucent roof, the palm trees, the wide open pathways throughout of it. It feels, the renderings, it feels like that outdoor feel to it. What are your thoughts on what you saw? What did you like?
It's funny. I was out of town, and I was at I'll say restaurant. It was actually a bar, and watching the game, but the audio wasn't on, so I couldn't hear anything. I was just watching. And I noticed Ken was in the booth with the guys, and the next thing I see are the renderings. I'm like, holy cow. And I said, I haven't seen this. I don't know if it's been there for a while, and I've just missed it, but they were actually breaking it. And I texted Ken when he was in the booth, and I said, they look awesome. And his response was 3 letters, LFG.
Yeah, exactly.
It was pretty good. So I loved it. I thought it looked beautiful. I can tell you, I've been in Minnesota in the Viking Stadium, I think 3 times now. And that's the closest as far as having that, what do they call it, FE roof.
Yeah.
And then in Minnesota, the door is actually open. And so I think that's the most similar thing I can think of that I've been in. But I think this by far would provide a much more outdoor feeling, the way that they've portrayed it. It's stunning.
Yeah, you've been to an all-star game and you saw what happened in Philadelphia. And obviously we build this, we get an all-star game. There's no question about that. Maybe 2030, which would be the 100th all-star game, by the way. So we may not get that one, but maybe 2031. How cool would it be to host an event like that?
Unbelievable. I mean, I've been to the NHL All-Star game here, been to other major events, and be able to have an All-Star game would be phenomenal, because it's not just one game, it's several events.
Yeah.
And when you look at the impact and just the exposure that it shows, that it provides for Tampa and Tampa Bay, it's immeasurable. And that's why whenever we have major events, whether it's a Super Bowl or we have college football playoff coming up, there's always a significant amount of C-level executives from around the country that come to these events, that many are considering relocating. And our Visit Tampa Bay and our tourism bureau, we'll host these folks, and whenever they get to see firsthand facilities such as this, it only strengthens our argument for relocating here. And that's why I've told folks that maybe not be the biggest sports fans in the world or baseball fans in the world, I said, hey, just like, I'm not the biggest performing arts guy in the world, but I recognize the importance of the Stratus Center, of having other facilities, because that's what executives look for. They look for the arts, they look for sports, they look for housing, they look for workforce, schools. And so it really just strengthens our place when we compete with other cities and other communities. And just like it would be incredibly detrimental if we would lose an MLB franchise, it would be a black eye. It would significantly impact our corporate recruitment efforts. There's no doubt about that.
All right, Ken, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate you, my man, and all the work that you've done on this. It's close to the finish line, and we're going to have a big frosty cold beer when hopefully this gets done. Thank you, partner.
I have several of them, buddy. I appreciate it. Anytime. Take care.
Great, Ken Hagan. All right, quick break. In the break here, I'm going to get to all of your comments here, and we'll put them all together, and I'll present them to Mr. Babby as we come up. So thank you guys for jumping in here and asking your questions. We will get to them in just a second. Quick break here. We're brought to you by the great folks at Genesis of Tampa, bringing you your first hour here. Great folks. They just did my valet service the other day, came to the studio, picked up the car, took it to the dealership, cleaned it all up, got the service done, brought it back before the show was over. That's the way they do it at Genesis of Tampa. Great cars, great technology, incredible value in the Genesis product. So check it out at genesisoftampa.com. Back in 3 with Ken Babby, CEO of your Tampa Bay Rays. Stay with us. Pitch Roofing believes giving back is part of doing business the right way. That's why they proudly offer exclusive discounts to those who gave the most to our communities, including veterans, first responders, seniors, and teachers. And for listeners of the JP Peterson Show, there's even more good news. Pitch Roofing is now offering a special discount just for fans of the show. With so many roofing companies coming and going in Florida, it's important to choose a contractor you can count on long after the job is done, especially when it comes to honoring your warranty. Pitch Roofing is built for the long haul with a reputation for quality, transparency, and standing behind their work. Whether it's a repair or a full replacement, their team delivers honest guidance, quality workmanship, and no high-pressure sales. Call 727-67-PITCH, 727-677-4824, or visit pitchroofing.com to schedule a free estimate.
Pitch Roofing, roofing done right.
Big thanks to Italiano Insurance, the great folks over there. They will soon be part of Gallagher Insurance. A little name change, but same great folks, same great customer service you've known for over 65 years. They do all the work. You save all the money. ItalianoInsurance.com at 813-877-7799. Hey, guys, you already know that Riveters is the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay, but now it gets even better for Rays baseball season. During all Rays games, check this out, $6 Tito's, $6 Jack, $6 margaritas, all during Rays games. Are you kidding me? And that's always a great pour from the great bartenders at Riveters. Great service, great food, everything is fresh, nothing is frozen. And let me tell you, if you want baseball and wings, you will not find any better than Riveters. Their sauces, like the blue cheese and the ranch and everything, is handmade, and the wings are big and they're perfect. Wings, baseball, Rays, Riveters. It all comes together during baseball season once again In addition to all the great food and service, you get $6 Tito's, $6 Jacks, $6 margaritas. It's time to celebrate. Baseball season is back, and celebrate at Riveters. You know where it is, right there on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of the stadium. See you there at Riveters. Hey, the Golden Diamond Source wants to be your family jeweler, so don't wait any longer to find that one-of-a-kind perfect engagement ring for that special someone in your life. At the Golden Diamond Source, they can design anything you want personally. The Golden Diamond Source can help you trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase as well. And with gold prices at record high, now is the best time to do it. They only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source, so if it's a real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Bad idea. And with the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyer program, you can learn all about the 4 C's in all the different shapes and styles. And they are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And don't forget, 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com.
It's a love you give only at Golden Diamond Source.
Hey, JP here for Genesis of Tampa and the Murphy Auto Group. I think the best way to experience a business is to use that business. And I just did at Genesis of Tampa. Just bought a GV70, a 2023, and it feels and drives all new. It's an absolutely fantastic car. The technology, the comfort, and the price, absolutely outstanding. Frankly, I never thought I could get into a car like this, but they made me a deal I could not refuse. And I also get the VIP service where you can just drive right up, their pit stop service. They'll top off all the fluids, make sure your air in your tires is good, new wipers if you want them. If you need extended service, they will come to you, bring you a courtesy car, and then bring your car back. What more do you want? The experience was just VIP all the way. And you can get that at Genesis of Tampa. And don't forget, you can get extended warranty, which I did. So I have worry-free miles up to 100,000, and all they do is just take it in. Actually, I don't have to take it in. They come to me. It's perfect. It's Genesis of Tampa right there, 801 East Bears Avenue, right off of 275. Go see them and tell them JP sent you.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to a very special edition of the JP Peterson Show. A big thanks to Ken Hagan. Ken Babby's up next. Alan Clendenin, City Chair, coming your way. And a big thanks to the folks at Riveters, our favorite sports bar, the official sports bar of the JP Peterson Show. I was there for lunch yesterday, had the world-famous Reuben sandwich there. Oh, you know, they slow cook the corned beef for 8 hours. 8 hours. And then the Thousand Island dressing, the marble rye. It's perfect. That's why it went viral. Great food over there. The wings, Rays, Riveters. Yeah, for every Rays game, it's happy hour. $6 Jack, $6 Tito's, $6 margaritas. So go watch the Rays all day long at Riveters and catch happy hour as well. All right, let's welcome in the CEO of your Tampa Bay. I'm sorry, the AL East leading best record in the American League, Tampa Bay Rays, Ken Babby joining us here. What's up, Ken? How are you?
Happy Friday, guys. Great to be together. I was just listening to Chairman Hagan's interview. I sent him a text and said, great job getting on base. I'm going to try and move you into scoring position, and then Chairman Clendenin can knock him in. So happy Friday.
He set the table. That's what he did.
Yeah,
that's right. Plucky little second baseman at the University of Florida that he was.
That's right.
Absolutely.
They're playing small ball just like the Rays.
Yeah,
That's
there
right.
you go.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Perfect
All right,
for doubleheader today.
Yeah. You looking forward to that? I know you'd like to be in Boston, but you got some other things to do, right?
We've got a big meeting here in actually about 30 minutes, and looking forward to sitting with our friends at the county and city and just continuing to move this progress forward. But I was just listening to that interview, and for those who are listening as well, I mean, I agree wholeheartedly with everything that Chairman Hagan. How fortunate are we to have him and Chairman Clendenin? Just at this moment, at this time, you need leadership. Leadership really matters, and we're fortunate to have a number of great elected officials. But just grateful to have Ken and obviously Chairman Clendenin at the city in these moments at this time. Who you have on the bus matters, and we're fortunate to have him.
Yeah, and nobody takes this for granted. It's a lot of public money, and these guys are putting their public behinds on the line here, and they've taken a lot of crap for it. And I get it. People, I understand the pushback, and I know you do as well, because it's a lot of money. But you also enjoy the fact that as you've spoken to so many people, and you've spoken to a lot of skeptics, and when you get to that point where they get it and they understand what a great benefit this is for the community, not just for you guys, that we're not just giving money to billionaires, that's got to be a satisfying feeling, right?
Yeah, I think, one of the things that I've enjoyed most about this process is just talking with people, whether it be in, a couple of dozen of large, public events we've done, private events, really just going through the community and addressing. And you said it earlier, it is amazing to me just how much misinformation is out there, last week and said, why would we want to pay a new tax for this? I said, well, I don't even know where people get some of this information. I mean, I think social media is a really dangerous place. And at times information gets out there. There's no new taxes in this framework. There never has been. And I think it's really important for people to invest the time to understand how this deal works. You're right. There's a complex aspect of the deal. It involves a number of different ingredients, to use a term that we use in the meetings. But this is a deal, and we've talked about it. You've talked about it for months. That's going to have generational impact on our community. This is so much more than building a ballpark, as you guys were just talking about. I could sit here and talk baseball with you guys all day, every day, but this is so much bigger than that in terms of what you think. And I'm relatively new to town, and and in the time I've been here, the conversations I've had with people who've talked about the previous iterations of the Rays in Tampa or previously in St. Pete, we have to really believe in ourselves, and we have to believe that to be a great American city, which Tampa is, the region is, we've got to make bold investments, and that doesn't mean not do the homework. That doesn't mean be meticulous, to use a word that the chairman just used, of the great work that the staff is doing at the county and at the city to evaluate it. But when you really look at the merits of a program like this, the impact of what it's going to have, I mean, look what the Cobb County commissioners in Atlanta that made the votes, over a decade ago now, they look back, they've publicly said this is one of the best decisions they've made in their community. And there's so many examples of that throughout the country, where, these deals have to be scrutinized. There are large amounts of public investment. There's certainly, over $1.2 billion of private investment from the Rays for sure in a deal like this. But ultimately it has to be a fair public-private partnership. We believe these definitive documents capture that, reflect it. And that's why I think you're feeling this optimism over the course of the last few weeks as this thing reaches the finish line here in August.
And I was there in Atlanta when that Cobb County thing went down, and they took a ton of heat because there was a lot of misinformation from the Journal and Constitution in Atlanta. And a lot of those commissioners paid at the election, because there was so much negativity. I hope they got their jobs back now that it's been a tremendous success.
Yeah.
I don't know how that worked out. But there is a lot of misinformation out there. And I think, Ken, and maybe you could just speak to this now. And I know we've gone over this and it's been part of the process, but there are still people out there that don't believe in these economic forecasts. You did one, the TSA paid for an independent one, the county paid for an independent one, and the opposition doesn't want to believe any of the numbers. They want to bring sports economists in here who have studied old stadium deals only. That's not what this is. This is a totally new project that's worked in other places. It's a proven model that works for the public funding and the private funding. So let's just do that again, if we can, and explain to people where, how this works and how it comes back, because they don't believe in these economic projections of 75 billion, 55 billion, 3 billion in tax revenue. Solidify that a little bit in their minds.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think I learned long ago, and I know you know this, sometimes in life you can't please everybody.
Right.
And that's, you look at a project like this, and we could do 1,000 economic studies, and there would still be, naysayers. A couple of the economic economists, externally, that have come in. They're trying to sell books. If you look at their social media pages and Facebook pages, they actually make a living. They'll complain about this project, and then they'll send another message about a football project in Buffalo, and then they'll send another message about what's going on with the Titans in Nashville. They make a living by sort of putting bullets in projects like this. Here are the facts, right? And I think it's important with these kinds of processes to really understand information and understand how it was put together, both from the Rays perspective, but actually more importantly, from the public sector. Your tax dollars went to go do their own verification, economic studies. And so we initially started with an economic study through RCLCO that has done many of these projects around the country very successfully, but it was funded by the Rays. And so folks said, well, how do we know? How do we know that $55 billion of economic impact that RCLCO says is true? And so then a second independent study was done. Brailsford and Dunleavy came out and did a second independent survey that brought even more robust information about 40,000 jobs and the economic impact and just how a project like this has an opportunity to change a region, backed up with firm data. And still in the community, as I was out doing these town halls and different events, we'll always look back and sort of the blur of the last year.
Yeah.
And there were still folks that said it wasn't enough. And I really tip my cap to the county administrator, Bonnie Wise, because it was really her idea to say, look, there's 2 surveys out there already. We want to go out on the taxpayers' behalf and do our own survey. And I said, fantastic. I mean, not only did the Rays support that, but it really became a moment where, we knew that the results of that survey would validate, would verify, even if they weren't favorable with what we wanted them to say. And guess what happened? That survey came back. It was produced by AECOM, paid for by taxpayers, initiated by Hillsborough County, and it came back and it showed that there was $70 billion of economic impact, that actually the prior 2 surveys had undershot. They were more conservative.
Yeah.
That's how this has played out. And so, look, I make a living every day by looking at data. We make decisions, and the baseball team that we run, nobody does it better than Eric Neander and Kevin Cash on the field. Off the field, we run a business that is highly analytical, where we depend on the authenticity of information to make decisions. Our elected officials at the county and the city will get an opportunity to do the same thing, exactly the way they should, with quality, validated, and verified data. Ken.
All right, important question here. And some of the critics have said you're rushing this through. You're trying to slam it, slam dunk before people know what's going on. I mean, I think that's silly. We've been at this for a while. But I want you to address this question, why August is so important. Because a lot of people say, why can't we just wait till the November property tax, even though we kind of debunk the importance of that, or not the importance, but just it's you need the money either way. You need to find revenue. So talk to me why August is so important that you get this done, because it's such a complex deal here.
Well, first of all, I think it's interesting, and I think you were alluding to it, that the narrative about the future of the Rays and where the ballpark's going to go, and the future, frankly, of baseball in our region has gone on for over 2 decades. And so I'm always somewhat sort of perplexed. I was going to say amused, but perplexed by somebody who says, "Oh, this whole thing is just going on and so fast. Why is it happening so fast?" And it really it comes down to just the results of what needs to happen by a certain date. So we've said and made a commitment to the community. We've made a promise that we intend to open a new ballpark by April of 2029. We've publicly talked about, and I think folks can go on and look, there's a ballpark coming out of the ground right now in Las Vegas that's going to open in April of 2028. And they've been at that for a couple of years already, right? In terms of their funding plan, their construction plan, their procurement. We are very closely in touch with the A's as they build this ballpark, and we're on a very similar construction schedule and trajectory of theirs. In order to meet April of 2029, we need decisions made in August. And folks have said, well, I thought it was July. I thought it was June. How come the dates keep slipping? I can assure you, and I think the commissioner said it on multiple media outlets this week, August is when the decision needs to be made. If we're not able to do that, we're not going to be able to hit that April 2029 date. And that really risks, not only the future of baseball in Tampa Bay, but the future of the Rays in our region. And so we've intentionally gone, it's worth highlighting this as well, Ken. We've gone at this a very direct and transparent way. We've not run a competitive process up to this point with other cities. We've not even engaged in conversations with countless other cities that have all been publicly reported that would love the opportunity to have the Rays in their city, and some that probably would offer even greater public funding should they be given an opportunity. Right now, up to this point, we haven't listened to any of that because this is Tampa's deal. We are the Tampa Bay Rays. We're committed to have our future here in Tampa Bay, but it's time for our elected leaders, our community leaders in both the county and the city to make a decision. I think the chairman said it right. We've reached that 11th hour where it's time for them to make a decision, and we trust they will make the right decision that will solidify not only the future of the Rays here in Tampa, but perhaps more importantly, this generational project to be able to really confirm, validate, and verify Tampa as one of the elite cities in our country that can build and take on big development projects like this.
Ken Babby, CEO of the Rays, joining us here. And to your credit, by the way, because every other stadium deal I've ever seen get done, it is the absolute first one thing in the playbook is leverage against other cities. And you have not done that, to your credit. I mean, there have been reporting out there, but that's just other markets trying to tank this deal because they want it. I know what that's all about. But you guys have not done that, to your credit. I want to talk, what is your confidence level at this point? You got a big meeting today with the city and the county. What is your confidence level at this point that this gets done?
Yeah, I should guide that. First of all, I'm a generally very optimistic person, and so take it with a grain of salt. And I think optimism in projects like this is really important. You have to come in with a can-do attitude. When you look at a hill that has been 25 years in the making and has a lot of complexity. Look, this is a complex deal that involves a state, a county, a city, a college, right? There are a lot of different players at the table. These meetings, one of these days we should take a picture of the boardroom where we meet. I mean, you could seat probably 40 people in one of these meeting rooms, and you're trying to pacify the needs of all these different constituents that are representing taxpayers, right? It's not just the Rays at the table. You've got representatives from all across the discussion, and I would tell you I'm optimistic, and the reason I'm optimistic is because the quality of people that are at the table bring the right attitude, the right conviction to get a deal done. But it's got to be a fair deal for the community. It's got to be a fair deal for the Rays. As I represent our partners in this conversation, every day in these meetings, it's got to be a deal that works for both sides. And I think, when that compromise and this framework is ultimately reached, there's always going to be a point of sort of, I wish we got a little bit more from both sides, but I think can both sides look at each other and say, is the deal fair? Is the deal fair for both parties? Is it fair for taxpayers? Is it fair for the Rays? We're taking on an extraordinary amount of risk. We're putting in, as I said, over $1.2 billion privately, the most that's ever been put into a project of this magnitude in North America. And the county's making a big investment too. And we're really, and certainly the city, we hope will contribute a part of it as well. And so these are big decisions. We've taken the time to go through it. These are long documents. There was a couple of outstanding issues. We'll pick up the pen with those here in about 10 minutes. And, I'm confident we're going to get to a good place because I think everybody's intentions are good.
Can you do it without the city?
Yeah. I mean, look, so we want the city in the deal.
Sure.
It's been widely reported this week that we're looking at alternatives. One of my principles, and I've had a few guiding principles in this deal for us from the Rays perspective, is one, we're not going to negotiate in public. I'm not, I heard you ask earlier to Chairman Hagan, what are some of those outstanding issues? And I appreciated he's taken the same position that we're going to let the negotiating parties in the room work through those. You'll never hear me come out and talk about individual deal points or issues in the public domain. And I think, and I hope, listeners can appreciate that's not a good, honest way of doing business. From the city's perspective, and this is what I'll say, this is a better deal for the community. This is a better deal for Tampa Bay with our elected officials at the city and particularly city council choosing to be a part of this deal. Could the train leave the station without them? The answer to that question is yes. But boy, it's not in their benefit for that to happen. The police benefits, the fire benefits, the staffing that we would do at the ballpark and in the district that would benefit them, the community benefits. We've long said, and I'll restate it here, that this is the largest community benefits agreement in the city of Tampa's history. Those benefits leave the city of Tampa and would move to the county, and probably wouldn't be as beneficial to the community because there's just not the same level of resources available. And so we want our city partners in the deal. I've spent time just this week with elected officials, with staff at the city. I'm hopeful that they come around. But as I think the public saw, there's still questions about that. And I'm texting with different city officials. I'm meeting with them regularly. We'll continue that into next week. We so desperately want them to be a part of this. But we can't beg, Ken. At the end of the day, the city, which by the way, the city's, contribution to this project from a financial standpoint is 3.5% of a $2.3 billion project.
Yeah.
And if the city doesn't and officials don't see the value of being part of, $55 billion of economic impact, a brand new Hillsborough Community College, and massive job impact for our region. We're engaged with Fortune 500 companies. We'll have more on that information in the next couple of weeks as they explore and have great appetite for our region. How could the city stand on the sidelines for this? That'd be the question.
Embarrassing as a city resident.
You've got Chairman Clendenin coming on in a minute, and I know he's a great supporter, and we couldn't have had a better leader from the city's perspective. But we're going to need his colleagues on board too.
All right, we only got a few minutes left, so I want to get to some fun stuff. All right, the renderings. I know you did this on TV, but let's do this a little bit. I just love the overall concept of an outdoor feel to an indoor stadium, which we got to have here, and I think that just hit the nail right on the head. What do you love about the renderings and what the inside's going to look like? Yeah,
I mean, this has been an incredible process, right? Sitting with our team at Populous and our partners. I so enjoy sitting in a room and learning. Probably my favorite part of this is just getting out and seeing other ballparks and really pushing our team to not just take ideas off the shelf that maybe, sort of here's how a deck, or here's where a concession stand might be. So how can we be thinking about those differently so that, I grew up, as I think most folks know, outside of Baltimore, and Camden Yards changed baseball forever. Every ballpark that was before Camden Yards, they kind of all look the same. They were the same kind of cement donut, multi-use stadiums. And that ballpark changed baseball forever. We're trying to build, a ballpark that's going to change not only the game forever, but really fits Tampa Bay with Ybor Brick in her side and having that outdoor-indoor feel. This is going to be a really special venue, and a very special place, not only for baseball, but for other special events. And we're really proud of it. I can't wait to show it off. I think, I was giddy that night we got to share the renderings. Yeah. I'll tease with you here because you've been such an incredible supporter of ours. That was just the first tranche of renderings that we've put out. There'll be more in the trickle over the next couple of weeks. And so for folks who say, give us more, we want to see more on the development, more on what the ballpark looks like. We're cooking up more, and we'll continue to share that as we get closer. But, we love sharing this with our fans and with our community because we believe Tampa Bay deserves this. Larry, last question. We were talking about this, the All-Star game possibilities. Just throw some of those out. Just fun stuff that you're thinking of if you could do it. What would that look like here? I was sitting in Philadelphia the other night, and it was a beautiful night. And before Junior got hit by the pitch, I was very relaxed and sitting there for about 20 minutes. We were not relaxed, but thankfully he was okay. He was okay. But I just thought, how incredible would an event like this be in Tampa Bay? What if, and I'm sitting downtown as we're doing this interview. What if, we always have a red carpet before the All-Star game. What if each of the All-Stars from the American League and National League came in on a boat parade and they unloaded and fans got to meet them at a red carpet event and had a chance to interact with a great fan fest and village down at our convention center, and working with Visit Tampa Bay to do an event like that. The hotel's full, the restaurant's full, folks here for a week celebrating our city. You get goosebumps, guys, as you think about this. And for folks who say, well, we'll never get that, it's never going to happen. Guess what? All these other cities took a bet on believing in the future of themselves. And that's why, and that's why these other cities have had this success. And guys, I can tell you, Tampa Bay is going to be right there with them if we can get this project across the board.
All right, last thing, one of our listeners, Jimmy J. Voyager, who's visually impaired, you got him some tickets for him and his dad to go to, and not just any game, but the Longo celebration game. He wanted to publicly thank you for that.
Thank you,
and
Jimmy.
I've heard stories of you doing this for loads and loads and loads of people. And this new connection that we are building with this ownership group is absolutely super special. It's authentic, and people are eating it up. Attendance is up. The vibe at the Trop is completely different. And I can't thank you enough for all you guys are doing. And keep it going. I know you got to go hit another big meeting. I appreciate it. Knock it out of the park, and hopefully we'll get this over the finish line here in just a little bit. Thank you, Ken.
Ken, I'll give you one last thing to take home with you to that point.
You better call me JP before you get out of here.
Ken, I see Ken. I see Ken Hagan's name on the side.
I know.
Everybody loves him. Much better looking Ken Hagan for sure. Don't tell Dr. Ken Atwater I said that though. I won't. Used that with him. I'll leave you with this. I just sent a note to our partners last night as we begin the second half of the season. Major League Baseball does a benchmarking survey on fan experience. And I was so proud of our staff, and we haven't released this publicly, but I'll share it here for your Petermans to listen and hear it. Tropicana Field had the best fan experience for the months of both May and June out of all 30 teams in Major League Baseball, and that's a benchmarking survey that the league does across all 30 teams. Number one in fan experience across all of Major League Baseball, and when I look at that, as proud as I am that we're doing it, and as incredibly proud as I am of our staff, I say, guys, could you imagine the opportunity to do this in a brand new ballpark in Tampa? Just give us the keys, give us the opportunity. We're trying to build trust in the community, and I can promise everyone that if given the opportunity to do that, we will make Tampa Bay proud for generations to come. So I'll close with that.
Thank you, Ken. That's awesome news. That's big news. That's incredible at Tropicana Field. Thank you, Ken. Appreciate it.
All right,
thank
guys.
you for all the work you're doing. We'll talk soon. Ken Babby there, CEO of the Rays. That is, and he called out the Petermans too. I love that. Absolutely love that. Wow. Do you hear what he just said?
Talk about endearing to your fan base, right?
Yeah. Tropicana Field. Tropicana Field just got the best fan experience, number one in the league. Of all these incredible ballparks, to be able to your staff and to be able to do things and create an atmosphere when you are so horribly disadvantaged with that facility is insanely good.
If somebody told you that at the beginning of the year, JP, hey, by the way, Tropicana Field, 2 months.
Yeah.
Ultimate fan experience.
That's a fan survey. All the other fans being asked, how's your ballpark going? And that number one in the Tropicana freaking Field. That just talks about the care that this membership. And I know there's probably, people out there, they're going to watch this and see this and go, oh, you're just, slurping the new owners, blah, blah, blah. Listen, folks, nobody has been harder on ownership in this market than me. The reason on a Rays ownership. Okay. The reason I'm excited about this is because these guys are doing things the right way. They're doing it the right way, and we should be kissing their ass for what they've brought here and the abuse that they've taken from county officials, not county, but city officials, county officials too. Wostall and Miranda wagging his finger at Ken Babby. We should be embarrassed by that, but they've taken it all and moved forward, and to their credit. And I think we're really close to doing it. Again, I think, has it been a perfect process? No, but they have answered every question as far as I'm concerned in the affirmative. And they protected taxpayers from the very beginning. There are no new taxes in the deal. Part of this show, and I know we're rehashing a lot of different shows, but part of what I wanted to do with this show is make it a condensed 2 hours. So anybody who had any questions about the ballpark and how things are going to work, they could just go right to this on YouTube and get all their questions answered. And that's why I'm asking these questions in the way I'm asking it. The opponents say, give me your answers to this. And I think if you're listening to the questions and the answers, how could you not get on board with this? I mean, if you're just going to say, I don't believe the projections, well, I can't debate you if you just don't recognize the actual facts.
Right.
And these are facts. 3 different economic studies were done. One by the Rays, one by the TSA. And then, as he said, the county said, you know what? We want to make sure what the impact's going to be. So we're going to do our study and we're going to have our taxpayers pay for it. Boom. What more do you want?
If somebody doesn't believe or understand or realize the already established facts, you're not going to be able to sell them on anything else in the future of those, because it's just they're not believing for the sake of not believing. They're not the ones you need to focus on. The ones you need to focus on are the ones who understand what's really happening, and that you can tell them in a way that they understand how that's going to translate to the future. And then those people will be the ones that will turn and that will understand. So the ones that just don't want to understand are the ones we just need to ignore.
All right, guys, I'm going to get to all of your comments. So we're going to try to stay on time here with Alan coming up, and there's a lot. So once Alan is done, we'll get through all the comments we can before the show ends. So please be patient with me there. I want to get all the questions, and I'm looking at your questions and trying to bring them into what we're asking the two Kens and Alan to come. So we appreciate your participation, number one, and number two. We'll just be patient. We will get to him here in just a little bit. All right, quick break. When we come back, the chairman of the city council. Will the city be part of this deal? I know the chairman certainly wants that to happen, but we shall see. We'll ask him those questions when we come back. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Gold and Diamond Source. You know, gold and silver has never been higher. Get your old gold and silver and bring it into the Gold and Diamond Source, and they will pay you cash money. And while you're there, you'll be looking around and say, ooh, that looks nice. That's a nice watch over there. Ooh, that's a pair of earrings I need to get for my wife. And they'll give you a discount if you're going to buy something there with the money that they just gave you. How cool is that? How cool is that? That's a win-win for everybody. So get on down to the Gold and Diamond Source. Julie and Steve Weintraub, the owners over there, great philanthropists in our community, and other great bunch of folks in our community. So let's support all that when we can, and that's the Gold and Diamond Source. Go buy something for my birthday. And thank you to all the folks wishing me a happy birthday. Back in 3. Stay with it. Well, the folks at Third Generation Plumbing and AC want to say thanks for making them so dadgum busy. Of course, advertising on your favorite Tampa Bay sports talk show helps, but it's their incredible customer service, honesty, and integrity that have earned them tons of 5-star reviews. And now you could be part of the team at Third Generation. Yes, they are so slammed, they need to hire more certified AC technicians and plumbers. It's a great family business to work for. My buddy John Rodriguez runs an old school family business since 1995. They pay well, give you all the holidays off, and they offer great benefits. No cold corporate atmosphere here. You're part of the family. If this sounds cool to you, call them and apply at 813-961-8024, or you can email your resume in at thirdgenerationplumbing.com. Just go to the website, you'll see the button, email them, or call them at 813-961-8024. And don't forget about the $169 yearly maintenance special. It's a no-brainer, guys. thirdgenerationplumbing.com, and they also do AC.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Sports fans, it's time to gear up. Head to fanstreamsports.com and check out our brand new merchandise store. We're talking bold t-shirts, 3/4 zips, hoodies, hats, mugs, and more. Everything you need to rep your favorite shows and your favorite crew. Whether you're rolling with the JP Peterson Show in Tampa Bay, From the Rough in Dallas, the Tim May Show featuring Clay Hall, or the Jeff Thidoff Show in Ohio, or any of our FanStream Sports original programming, we've got the perfect look for game day and every day. So don't wait. fanstreamsports.com. Click merch and grab your gear now. Wear the stream, live the stream, fanstreamsports.com.
Welcome to Kingmakers, home of the JP Peterson Show studio and Tampa's premier business networking and social club for members only. By day, it's an exclusive, vibrant co-working space with a stylish conference room, focus rooms, a full production studio, and an in-house marketing team. And by night, Kingmakers transforms into a sports-centric social hub with a full sports bar, golf simulator, and exclusive events. For young entrepreneurs and seasoned professionals, it's the perfect place to work hard, play hard, and make big moves in Midtown Tampa. Close the deal, celebrate the win. Only at Kingmakers. Become a member today at kingmakerstampa.com. Your business, your club. Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com.
Let's go.
Right now.
Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance, soon to be AJ Gallagher Insurance. The name will change, but the same great customer service you've been getting for 60 years at one of our great local companies, Italiano Insurance. They will still do all the work, and you will save all the money. 813-877-7799. Make sure you got your flood insurance, your business insurance. Make sure you're fully insured. 40% of you are not fully insured for your home if something were to happen. So they could take a look at everything and make sure that you have enough insurance to replace your home if something were to happen. They do it all at Italiano Insurance, soon to be AJ Gallagher Insurance. They'll give you more options, and that'll be better pricing and save you even more money. 813-877-7799. All right, before we get to your comments, which we will in just a little bit, let's bring in the chairman of your Tampa City Council, the great Alan Clendenin, joining our all-star cast today. Alan, you're batting cleanup.
Dang.
Pressure.
I'm telling you, I wish I had been available to listen to the comments this morning, but I caught the very end of Mr. Babby's comments. But yeah, well, good morning, everybody.
Well, good morning to you. And, everybody's talking about the city now because I think of all the places where this deal might go wrong, the city council has been, the toughest one to crack here. So I know you've been a very big supporter of this deal. We're trying to bring your comrades along. How does that stand right now at the city council?
Well, like any organization, there's 7 different folks with 7 different backgrounds and 7 different opinions. And, we obviously, because of state of Florida sunshine laws, we can't talk to each other unless we're actually on the dais about these issues that come before council. But I've always been a strong supporter of economic development in the city of Tampa. I believe that's one of the primary responsibilities of the city is to provide the opportunity for folks to thrive and, build businesses, be the catalyst of these type of developments. And this particular development is probably absolutely it is the biggest development in the history of not just the city of Tampa, but Hillsborough County. And I'm excited about it. And I'm really looking forward to this project, not just the stadium, but this entire 100 plus acres of land that is underutilized right now being turned around and becoming an economic catalyst and a job creator for the city of Tampa.
You mentioned something right there and we're on this show. We're trying to educate everyone for people who may not have really dug into the details of this. And you mentioned something about this property being underutilized. And I don't think people understand that enough. There's been, false narratives out there that this property is somehow worth what the Tropicana Field redevelopment property is worth, which is an absolute idiot thing to say, but it's been out there and it's been printed in major publications like it's actually factually true. And it's horribly not. Explain that to the folks.
Well, you look along this corridor and you see a lot of old car dealerships that have been languished and have been closed for years. You see a lot of, development that just hasn't occurred. You see, derelict type of construction, and then deeper farther into Drew Park. It's just considering the trajectory that the broader city of Tampa and our community is in. You see these amazing types of developments and how we are recreating and rebuilding the city into being a world-class city. This particular corridor is not that. We have it's more best known for adult uses of adult strip stores and adult bookstores and some chop shops. But this is, and then around the college itself, you have antiquated buildings that are in desperate need of repair and reconstruction. They were never built to be forever buildings. These are buildings that are 30, 40, 50 years old that have to be, that really need some love and attention. And again, they're not significant buildings. They need to do something. And it's surrounded by a sea of asphalt. You think about when this community college was constructed as a 2-year school. It was as a suburban type of campus where people would drive to it and attend a few classes and leave. And you've got the sea of asphalt all around it, which is a heat sink. What they're proposing is, the state is on board with recreating Hillsborough College is now a Hillsborough College. It's a 4-year school, not a 2-year school, and they're going to recreate an urban style campus. This is going we're going to create a college campus here that is going to be a magnet. It's going to attract a whole nother class of students that are going to want to attend this school, this college, this 4-year college, because there's going to be stuff to do. Yeah. You're going to be able to live in and around this area, because this is going to develop residential property where now that we don't have it, we've got a small complex that services students across the street from it that is still going to be there, but you're going to have residential places there, and then there's going to be restaurants and bars, and of course there's going to be a baseball stadium. There's going to be concerts. You've got Steinbrenner Field right down the way. You've got Raymond James across the street. There's going to be so many things, and hopefully connected by transit as well.
Yeah, and the city, in the county, that property right now gives nothing back.
Nothing. It's 100 plus acres that is not on the tax rolls. It's tax exempt. So what's going to happen with the creation of this project? Now the stadium itself will still be owned by the county, and that will be tax exempt. But all the other, the hotels and the restaurants, all that comes onto the tax rolls. So that's revenue. And by the way, that when people talk about this amendment that's coming on the ballot. That's just for residential homesteaded properties. All this property we're talking about, the hotels and all, that's all still going to remain, even if that was to pass, which it shouldn't, because it's a terrible deal for the state of Florida. But even if that was to pass, all this property will be taxable, or we'll be able to get the income off of this property. So this is a win-win-win.
We just heard Ken Babby say we want the city to come along, and they can do it without the city. It's a small part of the $10 billion project. It's a really small part of that, by about 1%. But we want the city to come aboard. But here's a big deal. If you don't come aboard, your city police and fire guys that would be able to work overtime at this entire facility, they don't get that opportunity. I don't think they're going to be very happy about that. Your city and fire people, and there are all these other community benefits. The city, having this huge thing built in the city limits, won't be able to really benefit in a lot of different fiscal ways. That seems really short-sighted.
Well, when it's all said and done, if you're not a partner in the process, you're out of the room. You're not having a say, and it's not just the initial part of this, but it's the ongoing management and how this area is developed and utilized. It's important that the city step up along with the county. The county has been really has done a tremendous job. Our county commission of really signaling how important this project is to our community. I believe there's we obviously, a few of us on city council have been extremely right from the get-go. We understand how important this is for the city of Tampa, how important this is for our residents, how many jobs this is going to create, what an economic catalyst this is for the community. We get it. Unfortunately, there's a hangover from some bad deals, and some of the things, honestly, you look around the country at these stadium construction deals, very few look like this. The Rays ownership has been very transparent and very upfront with the city and the county, and really good partners. They came to the table with 54 to 56% of bearing the cost of the stadium construction itself, and 100% of the cost of all the other adjacent construction. So when you look around and you look at other stadium projects around the country, very rarely do you see the private sector come in with commitment of that much money to fund these projects. I mean, generally, like Raymond James across the street, guess who paid for that? The taxpayers, 100%. Yeah, 100%. The Buccaneers didn't pay. The Buccaneers didn't pay for that. Nice. The Benchmark Arena, formerly Emily, the Lightning did pitch in, but it wasn't the same percentages we're talking about now.
No,
it was a lower percentage, but they've been great partners, by the way. I'm not taking away from the Lightning, because like in the renovations and all, they've really ponied up, and they've done a great job of working with the city of Tampa and Hillsborough County. And I think that with the Rays organization, we're going to have the same type of partnership, and I'm excited about it. You're absolutely right. It's critically important that the city step up to the plate as well. I do believe, though, that one way or another, we are going to be swinging bats in Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa, with or without the city. I think the city needs to be there. I think it's important I'm a huge supporter of our police and fire. I think it's really important. It's an important signal to those men and women that protect our safety, that we stand up beside them as well and fight for them. And the Rays again have been really good working with both our police and fire to ensure that we have the type of facilities available to them to be able to provide the public safety on this project, and to be able to take care of those folks that work for us as the project progresses.
Alan Clendenin joining us here. He's the chairman of the Tampa City Council. I know some of your members are hesitant to use CIT money, and I'd like you to explain this to the folks. Now, the county attorney has looked into this, and they have decided that, yes, it is a legal use of CIT funds. That should be the end of it right there. There's talking points out there that when we agreed to this, we didn't want it to go to new stadiums. And especially when it comes to the city, part of this money can be directed to infrastructure. It doesn't have to, quote, be for the new stadium. Different piles of money can go to different things. I don't understand why this is such a hang up, and not to belabor it, but Raymond James Stadium was built with CIT money. The law says it's for public buildings. This is a public building. It's going to be just going to be a Rays baseball building. It's going to be a public building of which the city is going to get tremendous benefit. Why in the world are people so hung up about this CIT money being used for this?
There is so much misinformation out there.
Right.
But I want to start with one thing first, though. I want to commend the county staff and the city staff and the Rays organization for what they've been doing behind the scenes, working really diligently. I'll say this for the folks that are listening that are taxpayers in Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa. You have been well represented at the bargaining table by the county staff and the city staff. They are really working hard to ensure that the taxpayers and your interests are protected. So that being said, that's a transition into the CIT. The CIT, I don't care what politician pontificated or said prior to the vote. There was very specific ballot language that the voters, they're the final say, the voters voted on. And the voters voted on a ballot initiative that authorized the use of CIT money for public facilities. This facility, the Raymond James, this Steinbrenner Field, Benchmark Arena, and now this Rays Stadium, when constructed, is owned by the county. It's not owned by the Rays organization. This is going to be a taxpayer-owned facility. So that clearly is allowed under the CIT. And for some reason, some folks are looking at the CIT as this is Moses came down from the hill and created this freaking tax. This is a ballot initiative sales tax. And to put that in perspective, for the city of Tampa, for the CIT, the $80 million they're asking for CIT for the city of Tampa, about 30 to 35% of that is paid for by people that don't even live in the city. They come from Pasco County and Pinellas County or fly from all over the world and they spend money in the city of Tampa. That money's being paid for by other people. So it's this huge chunk of money, and it's sales tax money. It's not your property tax money. It's sales tax money. So it's user money. It's such a small amount. I mean, I put it in perspective. We have a city building that we constructed on Hannah where we consolidated services. And it's a really nice building, and it's a good amenity for the city of Tampa. That building cost over $100 million. So the city paid over $100 million for this building. Guess what? There's no ROI on that building.
None.
It's not an economic catalyst. So we're talking $80 million to get somewhere between 50 and 80 billion dollars of economic development in the city of Tampa for a city commitment of $80 million. When we went without blinking an eye and spent $100 million on building a city building. It's just, and there's countless examples of that. And I think sometimes there's a lot of misinformation out there about what the city is being asked to fund. It is, I think less than 3% of the cost of the construction of this thing. It's like, it really truly is insane. And this is a good deal. And it's a good deal for the city of Tampa. It provides economic opportunity for folks. It provides jobs. It provides revenue. It's a catalyst. And you know what? It also provides recreation. As a city, we build parks, we build trails, we build river walks because we want folks that live here to have things to do. Well, guess what? Baseball is something for folks to do. There's a lot of games being played baseball. Then, of course, the types of concerts and everything else is going to go. These are opportunities for the residents of the city of Tampa. You know, we're not living in the desert or living in the middle of a cornfield in Kansas. Yeah. We're building a world-class city, and a world-class city deserves world-class amenities.
Alan, I've heard we've talked to some folks at West Shore Alliance, and I've talked to some other folks in government that say when you build something like this, the density becomes it is something that attracts light rail and federal dollars. We may have mentioned this the last time I had you on. Have you heard anything more about that? Because people talk about, I don't want the traffic. And I say, well, guess what? This is going to bring the opportunity to get light rail. And that's federal. We can get federal dollars for that, which will, the traffic's not going away. I got news for you. But unless you do something like this, where you can get light rail, then that could drastically affect how much easier it is to move around and certainly make it easier for us to connect the airport to West Shore to downtown. So we don't have to get into our cars every freaking time we go out.
Well, we are working hard. And for those that know me, know that I'm a huge advocate for transportation and even bringing it down to paving our damn roads. I ran on a pave our damn road platform, and we're doing a good job. Since I've gotten elected, we've nearly tripled the amount of roads that we're paving each year, and we've done a really good job of doing that. But we're also working on bringing further transit. We're extending the streetcar. We're going to triple the amount of rail in the ground for the streetcar. We're working on that. And then another part of this equation is the airport to downtown and hopefully connecting it to the stadium complex. Michael Stevens, the airport director, has been a big advocate. Ken Atwater, the president of Hillsborough College, has been a big advocate. The West Shore Alliance, as you referred to. We've got a lot of pieces of this puzzle coming together, and a really important piece of that puzzle is the activation of this area and the construction. And this, $6 to $8 million of construction in this area. Just to boil it down to where people can really understand how big this is. Building this type of construction with the hotels and the apartments and condominiums and all the people. And activating, this is there's only a handful of NFL games with a few concerts and all. That doesn't support it. But now between the Steinbrenner Field and Raymond James and the activation of Raymond James, the Ray J Stadium, the Ray Stadium and the hotels and all this, you're talking a catalyst of density that's going to be able to support transit. Florida Department of Transportation is fully on board. We're working on different types of improvements. We're talking about where the stops would be to be able to service the stadium district, because now we'll create a real stadium district. We have a transit area that, remember where the old DoubleTree was on Cypress? Florida Department of Transportation purchased that area. They've already demolished the hotel. That's going to be a mixed modal transit center. We'll be able to come off of the airport property with their system to there. The airport's on board with being a partner for that. And then we'll be able to build a connection from that center on Cypress to the stadium area and also to downtown, servicing University of Tampa, the cruise port, the convention center. And then
It's already in
hopefully,
motion.
and then hopefully we'll get the light rail. They built the Howard Franklin Bridge with a portion that is going to be able to accommodate light rail. It's already done. It's there. So hopefully we're once this is all done, we're going to be able to shoot across the bay with light rail to get to St. Petersburg. So folks that are living in downtown St. Pete can jump on a light rail and come without ever getting in a car.
Changes
and go
everything.
Yeah, and well, one other component of this too, we're by the end of this year, hopefully, we're going to have a ferry system going between downtown St. Petersburg and downtown Tampa. We're going to have 2 ferries, and it's all year, 12 months out of the year, 365 days a year. The 2 ferries are going to be going like this, and it's going to be reliable. And so folks are going to be able to take the ferry from downtown St. Petersburg to downtown Tampa, jump on a streetcar, hopefully jump on another connection to get you to the Raymond James Stadium. You'll be able to do this without a car.
Dude, that's crazy and fantastic all in of itself. You're also on the TSA board, and a lot of people have questions about the Bucks. Can we do the same? Do we have money for the Bucks? Do we have money for the Rays? And I tell them all the time that Bucks money has been set aside. But I also want you to differentiate, and this is not to rip on the Bucks. That's not what this is about. They're just different deals. Benchmark Arena hosts 250 events a year.
Right.
It's one of the busiest in the year. That brings a lot of people to the city, heads and beds. This Rays Stadium, 81 baseball games, and probably another 100 events as well in this stadium and around the stadium. It's a totally different deal in terms of bringing people in and bringing their money. The Bucks have 8 games a year. There's a few concerts as well. So, even if you don't give as much money to the Bucks, some people go, "Oh, well, you're not making them a priority." No, they're different deals. So can you expound on that a little bit and make sure people know that the Bucks aren't going anywhere and there's money for them as well?
The Bucks aren't going anywhere, and I'm a huge Buccaneer fan. I'm out there waving my flag. I'm a Buccaneers fan. I go to the games. I love the Buccaneers. Yeah, I'm down. I'll fight for them and all. But that being said, I'm also a custodian of taxpayer dollars, and I want to make sure that the dollars are spent, that it's an investment. Again, we have to go back to the beginning. Raymond James was built with 100% of taxpayer money. So the Buccaneers did not pay for Raymond James. Again, the Rays Stadium, they're coming to the table with more than half of the cost of the construction of that stadium. The taxpayers pay for Raymond James. The Glazers have contributed to some of the recent renovations, so they've ponied up for that. We have a contract with the Buccaneers, and we are contractually obligated to maintain the stadium at NFL standards. So there's things that we do have to do. We are obligated to do. And I'm just shooting from the hip. I'm going to say somewhere between $200 and $300 million, because their 30-year contract is up for renewal.
Right.
And so I'm saying probably that's what our obligation is going to be. That's what we're obligated to do. And the Buccaneers are able to renew their contract in 5-year increments after this 30-year term is up, right? So what I'm looking at is we're going to meet our contractual obligations. Everything else is negotiable. I will say, and as much as I'd love to have obviously a covered air-conditioned stadium, because it's sweltering hot there on the east side.
Yeah.
That being said, my conversation with the Buccaneers was, I said, "How many games did you not sell out last year?" He said, "Oh, you sold out all the games." What I'll say to that is that if you're asking the taxpayers to pay for something, especially like a shade structure, that may be that's too much of an ask. I mean, that is a fan comfort thing. I think that is one of the things that the Buccaneers can, jack up your price for. If you're selling out 100% of your games, jack up the price $10 and pay for your own shade structure. It's like, if it's fan comfort, it's something they could do. But we have to maintain the HVAC system. We have to maintain the electrical system. We have to make sure the concrete is solid. We have to make sure, we're replacing all the seats and things like that. These are kind of things that the Tampa Sports Authority and the Hillsborough County and that we're going to pony up for. Some of the other stuff is wants, not needs. We're going to pay for the needs. We're not going to pay for the wants. How's that? That's from my perspective.
Okay. Do you have any idea what they want to build?
Well, I mean, obviously, I think one of their wants is they want a shade structure, which is what I'm hearing is like $500 million. And well, yeah, that's nice. I love the concept. I love the idea of having that. But again, that's a want, not a need. That we're going to because we have a stadium. We have the activation. In fact, and by the way, I think Raymond James has aged well.
Oh,
I mean,
very well.
for
Very well.
a 30-year-old stadium, and with the renovations that the Buccaneers, pitched in for and did what they
Great
did.
bones. Yeah.
It's great bones. It's got a great aesthetic. It looks good. It looks good. It's a great place to. I mean, it's a great place to watch a game. I mean, I think
it really is.
the fan experience there is good, and most of the other activation, like the concerts at night, they're nighttime games, so that's not. I'm sorry, nighttime events. So with the shade and all that's not normally a factor. So yeah, I mean, again, there's obligations that we have to pay for. We're going to have to pitch in for, but the Buccaneers are going to have to do that.
All right, Al, anything else you want to add to this that maybe we haven't covered here today?
Well, I think one of the things that I hear all the time is, why should the taxpayers be, building a stadium for, wealthy people? Well, one, it's a balanced deal. This is not a lot of things we compare, and a lot of these bullshit excuse my language, these
That's fine on this show.
these rental economists that talk about stadium deals. Well, it's a lie by omission, because they're just talking about stadium construction. They're not talking about this mixed use area of 100+ acres of economic development. And they're not saying that, hey, by the way, this stadium is owned by the taxpayers. It's owned by the county. It's not owned by the Rays. So it's not like we're handing them the keys and saying, you own this. No, this is owned by the taxpayers. It's owned by the county. And again, it's an economic catalyst. It's 15,000 jobs plus all the construction jobs, which right now is a good time right now, because we're kind of leveling out in construction right now. So to be able to provide that right now, if they're put shovels in the ground in September, these are people that are living here, that are working, trying to raise families, that we're providing economic opportunity for. And that, again, a really critical role of government is to provide the environment that creates jobs. And that's what this is going to do. It's going to create jobs. It's going to create temporary jobs for construction, and it's going to create permanent jobs. And it's going to create some permanent, really good paying jobs too. And those good paying jobs are going to, those young people are going to be living in our communities. The kids are going to be going to school, and they're going to be contributing to making Tampa the world-class city that we're growing to be. And again, it's an exciting project. It's something that it is too important to fail.
Yeah.
We will never again, and I've said this time and time again, and especially in this particular area that has languished in the exact same circuit. I've lived in Tampa for over 40 years. The same strip clubs, the same adult bookstores, the same everything else. Disney ain't coming to save Drew Park.
That's right.
Microsoft isn't coming to. We're not building a tech center. We're not, because if they were coming, they would already be there.
That's right.
This is a once in a multi-generational opportunity. It is too big to fail. We need to step up to the plate, and we need to swing for the fence.
Come on, city. Let's get on board with this. No question
Absolutely.
about it. Yeah, and we kind of talked about this with Ken Hagan. It's like, why should we give money to billionaires? Like we're cutting a check to the Rays.
It's not happening.
That money is going to pay for the job of your neighbor to go work on the concrete or the HVAC system or all these things. That money is most of that money is staying right here in the community. And to your point, when you build some of these other things, you get no return on investment. This is going to be like a theme park where 9 million people a year or more are going to visit it. When you fly into TIA, you're going to go, hey, what's that down there? We're going to go see that.
Not only that, it's not even that we're not cutting a check to these rich people.
Right.
The rich people are cutting a check. They are building a stadium and handing the keys over to us.
I know.
So I mean, they're spending over $1 billion and giving it to the county.
Yeah.
So this is what's so crazy about this discussion. All of this private sector, and then for the city perspective, all the money, the sales tax money that, again, 30% plus of it's being paid for by other people, all the county money, all the state money. We haven't even talked in this conversation how much state money is flowing into the city. All the private investment from the Rays, not just the stadium construction, but this 100+ acres of development, all being brought into the city of Tampa. Yeah. All being spent within the boundaries of the city of Tampa. We are 100% of the recipient of these billions and billions of dollars. This has never happened in the history of the city of Tampa, and I doubt it'll ever happen again.
And there are still city council folks that want to sit on the sidelines, which absolutely boggles my mind. All right, we'll get to work, change their mind, go do what
Take
you
care,
got to
guys.
do.
I appreciate. There it goes. I'm getting excited. Knock my phone over. I appreciate y'all's everything and your listeners, and I have fully confidence in the team that we're going to end up playing in Tampa. So you guys have a great day.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it. Yeah, man. I mean, this is it is a once in a generation opportunity to do this, guys. I just can't. If you can sit here and watch this show and not be for this as a city resident, county resident, I don't know what else you can do. And these guys are making excellent points and bringing facts to the table. They're not saying, why don't you like it? I don't want to give money to billionaires. That's not a fact. That's not a fact. That's not a talking point. Like, okay, what do you mean by that?
That's not even a valid argument.
It's not. Well, tax money going to it's not going to billionaires. It's going to a project that is going to feed other families, your neighbors who are going to work on this project or work when it's done.
Do people complain? Do people complain about those same issues when you have a major corporation wanting to relocate their headquarters to your town to provide maybe 5,000, 10,000 new jobs for your community, for your neighbors?
There are AOC.
And and the city wants to offer them, some tax lien or some tax rebates or something, or help maybe chip in for the campus that they're building. It's the same thing. It just happens to be sports related with the teams, and people see it completely differently.
Yeah, and it's low hanging fruit for dumb people.
Yes,
in my opinion. I don't mean to be rude if you oppose this, but it's just you're not thinking it through. You're just taking slogans. I don't want to give money to billionaires. Why do they give tax money? What about the traffic? Okay, let's talk about the traffic. Okay, I mean, let's talk about these things and understand these are very smart people. There's not going to be any parking. Right. They're going to build a $10 billion facility and we should have remembered to park. What about the parking? Come on now. It's just ignorant, frankly.
Look,
all right,
you can oppose this thing for valid reasons. Like people will have valid reasons. If you don't care about new jobs, if you don't care about income for the county and for the city, whatever, whatever. That's a valid argument. But to just say, well, I don't want to give billionaires more money, that's just stupid.
Yeah, it is. It's ignorant.
It pisses me off. I don't even live there, and it pisses me off.
David Terry, thank you for your super chat of $10. Appreciate you doing that. All of our members, Alex Nunn, who is a member here. I'm so confused by these people's hate. I know.
Me too,
all right, let's take our final break. And when we get back, I'm going to get to hopefully all of your comments here. Really appreciate you guys jumping in here and being patient as well. So quick break. We're brought to you by the great folks at kingmakerstampa.com, the private club that we are sitting in right now. You could be part of this. It's a shared office space with a production facility like this, a podcast studio. We have a golf simulator, a sports bar where we had our big event the other day. You can be a member here, kingmakerstampa.com. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for Genesis of Tampa and the Murphy Auto Group. I think the best way to experience a business is to use that business. And I just did at Genesis of Tampa. Just bought a GV70, a 2023, and it feels and drives all new. It's an absolutely fantastic car. The technology, the comfort, and the price, absolutely outstanding. Frankly, I never thought I could get into a car like this, but they made me a deal I could not refuse. And I also get the VIP service where you can just drive right up, their pit stop service. They'll top off all the fluids, make sure your air in your tires is good, new wipers if you want them. If you need extended service, they will come to you, bring you a courtesy car, and then bring your car back. What more do you want? The experience was just VIP all the way. And you can get that at Genesis of Tampa. And don't forget, you can get extended warranty, which I did. So I have worry-free miles up to 100,000, and all they do is just take it in. Actually, I don't have to take it in. They come to me. It's perfect. It's Genesis of Tampa right there, 801 East Bears Avenue, right off of 275. Go see them and tell them JP sent you. Big thanks to Italiano Insurance, the great folks over there. They will soon be part of Gallagher Insurance. A little name change, but the same great folks, same great customer service you've known for over 65 years. They do all the work. You save all the money. ItalianoInsurance.com at 813-877-7799. Hey, the Golden Diamond Source wants to be your family jeweler. So don't wait any longer to find that one-of-a-kind perfect engagement ring for that special someone in your life. At the Golden Diamond Source, they can design anything you want personally. The Golden Diamond Source can help you trade in your old broken jewelry and use it towards a new purchase as well. And with gold prices at record high, now is the best time to do it. They only sell natural diamonds at the Golden Diamond Source. So if it's a real love, it should be a real natural diamond. Don't start your relationship with a fake diamond. Bad idea. And with the Golden Diamond Source first-time buyer program, you can learn all about the 4 C's in all the different shapes and styles. And they are able to show you a huge selection of inventory to choose from. And don't forget, 0% financing for up to 5 years. If you finance $5,000, it's only $83 a month. Make sure it's a Golden Diamond Source diamond, 3800 Almerton Road, always online at goldendiamond.com.
It's a love you give only at Golden Diamond Source.
Hey guys, you already know that Riveters is the best sports bar in all of Tampa Bay, but now it gets even better for Rays baseball season. During all Rays games, check this out, $6 Tito's, $6 Jack, $6 margaritas, all during Rays games. Are you kidding me? And that's always a great pour from the great bartenders at Riveters. Great service, great food, everything is fresh, nothing is frozen. And let me tell you, if you want baseball and wings, you will not find any better than Riveters. Their sauces, like the blue cheese and the ranch and everything, is handmade, and the wings are big and they're perfect. Wings, baseball, Rays, Riveters. It all comes together during baseball season. Once again, in addition to all the great food and service, you get $6 Tito's, $6 Jacks, $6 margaritas. It's time to celebrate. Baseball season is back, and celebrate at Riveters. You know where it is, right there on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of the stadium. See you there at Riveters. Pitch Roofing believes giving back is part of doing business the right way. That's why they proudly offer exclusive discounts to those who gave the most to our communities, including veterans, first responders, seniors, and teachers. And for listeners of the JP Peterson Show, there's even more good news. Pitch Roofing is now offering a special discount just for fans of the show. With so many roofing companies coming and going in Florida, it's important to choose a contractor you can count on long after the job is done, especially when it comes to honoring your warranty. Pitch Roofing is built for the long haul with a reputation for quality, transparency, and standing behind their work. Whether it's a repair or a full replacement, their team delivers honest guidance, quality workmanship, and no high-pressure sales. Call 727-67-PITCH, 727-677-4824, or visit pitchroofing.com to schedule a free estimate.
Pitch roofing, roofing done right.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Oh, this has been a fun day. Hopefully informative. Hopefully we got lots of your questions answered. And big thanks to all of our great sponsors, Cafe Paradiso. Hey, you're looking for a good Italian meal this weekend? You got to go over to Cafe Paradiso. I think I'm going to go have my birthday dinner at Cafe Paradiso.
Happy birthday, JP. Have a shot for me. I'll send you $8 for a Jaeger shot.
Thank you very much. But I don't drink much anymore.
Well, I'll fix that. Just wait till I visit Tampa. We'll get you back on track.
Nah, my body's feeling much better without alcohol.
It's not the point.
Yeah. So thanks to all of our great sponsors. Really appreciate all of you. Genesis of Tampa, Kingmakers Tampa, Bay Area Modern Medical, Third Generation Plumbing. Great guys over there, John Rodriguez and PJ. If you're having any issues with your HVAC system, make sure you give them a call. Go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. They also do AC. Get the maintenance special, $169. They come out twice. Clean out your old drain pipe. You got to get your drain pipe cleaned every once in a while, folks. Make sure everything's working. That unit's working well. And they do that over there, Third Generation Plumbing.
My favorite
all right.
JP drop, and I don't have it on this board. I got to move it.
All right, let's get to it. Alejandro always starting us off. Saying, good morning, JP and Peterman. Today it's going to be a big day for us Rays fans. We're going to get all the news we can about the stadium. Thank you, Mr. Babby, for all you have done for this team. You think it's a coincidence that the Rays are as good as they are with this new ownership?
No.
I don't think so either.
We talked about it last year and the year before under the old ownership. Players know when things are rough in the front office, and players know when there's not fan support. They all know that, and it affects the play on the field.
Pooh Shiesty, one of our VIP members, along with Alejandro, says all three guests are the real MVPs of the Rays Stadium deal. The Petermans definitely support them. How about Ken Babby calling out the Petermans today? That's a new drop. We got to get that drop there, partner, for forever and ever. Can we convince Babby to trade for Adley Rushman? That's why I didn't ask him any baseball questions, because he doesn't do that. He gives them resources, though.
Not his job.
Yeah, and I think Mr. Neander, as he said, Eric Neander knows what he's doing, and of course they're going to add pieces at the deadline. Who are we kidding? Pooh Shiesty says, at this point, I say screw the city. If Tampa doesn't want to play ball, cut them out of the benefits of this project. Let the county take the windfall from this generational investment. What sucks is it's kind of baked in to the deal that the city of Tampa is going to benefit either way, which kind of sucks. So we're like, oh, we'll just sit on the sidelines and take the money anyway. What a jackass thing to do. And obviously, Chairman Clendenin is not for that. I mean, at this point, if you're on the city council, why would you not just say, look, my grievances about the CIT have been heard by everybody who might be but in the long run, this is bigger than that. And it's great return on investment, so I'm in. Is it that hard? And again, if you don't do it, and this, you're going to suffer, because your police, the city police and the city fire that would be able to get those overtime hours, and it's significant. These guys count on this money. They work the stadiums, and they're great gigs. They get to go to a baseball game and get paid $50 an hour. And so all the county sheriffs are like, hey, let us do it. So it'll be all the county sheriffs and the county employees that get to do that instead of the city employees. You don't want that.
They will gladly do it.
Yeah, they will. And the other people are going to be pissed. So if you support our fire and policemen, but yet you're going to deny being part of this, and then they can't get that OT, what are you doing? You're not helping them. You're not supporting our police and fire, Charlie Miranda, by saying no to this. You're spitting in their face, actually. That's what you're doing. You're taking money and food off the table. You good with that? Clown. What's the chances of this deal happening? Well, what do you think after watching it, guys? Confidence is high with all three of these guys that are the leaders in getting this done. I brought them on for a reason today, because these are the guys that have been driving this. And I know they're not opposition folks. I would like to have some opposition people on, but frankly, they don't want to come on here because they have no answers. They have no answers for what I'm asking, and they'll just look foolish, and they know it. They won't come on here. I've invited them. They won't come
because they don't have real reasons for opposing this. None of them are real. And
we put them on live, and they got to answer these questions. When you hit them with all the facts, what are they going to say? Don't give money to billionaires.
All they can do is talk on social media without having to be held responsible for their comments. That's all they do.
Buck Skull Gang said, we may want to stay at the Trop. Bro, come on now.
What is that?
Yeah, but the fans are happy. Look at the survey. It's an absolute, it's a horrible location. Do you know how many fans in this 3.4, probably almost 4 million people in this 7-county area are getting cheated out of going to more baseball games because it's simply on the edge of the market? And the people that live around there don't take advantage of it. For 30 years, you've been able to do it, and you haven't done it. You're cheating everybody else. So it's not cool. Like, give us a chance. The people, and I hate to pit one area against the other. That's not what I'm doing. But by having it over there, you literally cut off 90% of the market from having, because people aren't going to spend 3 hours of their day going there and back, and especially not driving because they want to have a few beers at the game. It just doesn't work. You got to think about this. Taking a streetcar or light rail, going, if you live downtown, you walk to the station. Even if you live in the suburbs, You drive to the station in downtown Tampa instead of having to drive over the bridge all the way, and you get on the light rail or the streetcar that takes you to the stadium complex. And you park away from, that's part of it. If you have other modes of transportation to get there, you don't have to park at the stadium. Danny Boy says, I love doubleheaders. You don't see scheduled doubleheaders anymore. I know. We need more of that.
Man, I miss those.
And you know why? Because they make more money the other way. It's all about money.
They don't ever schedule doubleheaders now. They're always makeup games, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think they've started to schedule more.
Have they?
Mike H says the Rays need to trade prospects or current roster players for a big bat and a big arm. You got that right. The Bushman says LFG the Rays. JLR, if the city doesn't want to be involved, then the county and state should get all the tax revenue. That's the way it's going to work.
That's how it works.
That's the way it's going to work if they don't want to be involved.
They
will still get some of the tax revenue and ancillary stuff, like people staying in hotels within the city limits. And so it's kind of baked in, people that work in the city, that will be working construction jobs in the city, they'll be taxed on their wages, and they get all these ancillary benefits. So it's a real shitty way to still get some of the money without putting any in. And just imagine being the city of Tampa, not being part. And yet they're not even asking for that much. They knew the city of Tampa would be this way. So that's why they didn't ask, but they wanted them to be part of it, to be able to really enjoy and bring everybody on the train, like you heard Ken Babby say. And you still want to just spit in their face. You're an embarrassment if you're voting against this. I'm sorry. I hate to be mean, but you're an embarrassment. As a city taxpayer, I'm telling you. Kurt Thorson says, in 2011, I went to Minnesota for a Rays and Twins game. The game was postponed due to snow. Came back the next day for a doubleheader. The Rays won both. Zobrist had 13 combined RBIs. I remember that.
Wow.
That was insane. What else we got here? Wesley Wright says, hey, JB, I guess the big question is, if the no home tax passes in November, we, the county or city, have or find a way to find money for the stadium. Wow. Yes. And that's why I wanted to ask that question. There's still money there. There's plenty of money there. And again, it's kind of be grandfathered in if it passes, and it's just on homesteads and not commercial property, and it's only part of it. So and again, if they do have this humongous loss, how do you make up that revenue? You need an investment vehicle that might bring, 9 million tourists in, 75% of which will be from outside the county, bringing their money in, to spend. Yeah. That's what happens at the Battery. So I'm using that number. And don't forget, we are a tourist economy. We have 45 million people coming to Tampa St. Pete, which is about what Vegas gets on a yearly basis as well. Yes, a lot of that money goes out to the beaches. I get that. But how many people would, at least if you fly into TIA, go have lunch or dinner over at the stadium complex, even if the Rays aren't playing? A lot, because you're right there. And then you take your rent-a-car or your Uber or whatever you're going to do to where you're staying at the beach. And you're probably going to come back for a Rays game. So this is what happens at the Battery. So, yeah, it's a vehicle to bring money into your county coffers from outside the county. That's what's happening in Cobb. It's brilliant. And again, they're paying for all the buildings, most of it. You're putting in $1 billion or less than $1 billion of a project that's going to be $8 to $10 billion. It's a good deal. Jimmy J. Voyerster says, hey, JP and Tim, if you could please give a personal thank you to Ken Hagan, Babby, and Clendenin for the hard work they were doing to better our community. We truly appreciate it. Yeah, and they gave you a shout out to the Petermans. Buck Skull Game says, I don't want them to leave Tampa. Well, if they don't get it done, you heard this is something else that should be news breaking. Ken said, if this is not done in August, if we don't get this vote done now, if somebody wants to wait till the property tax or whatever, that ain't going to work. These guys are on a timeline. State funding is involved, the building of the college, construction, all this stuff is interwoven into this timeline. And if you say, well, let's just take a break. No, this is your time. Either shit or get off the pot. If you don't do it now, and he won't say it, but I'll say it, they're leaving. There's other places, and they have not said that. They have not threatened one bit. Everybody else threatens. The A's threaten, the White Sox threaten, the Giants, everybody used us as leverage. These guys aren't doing that, and they should be commended for that, which I did. So remember that. Kurt Thorson, one of our Peterman, says, I got into it with an Orlando resident who's hopeful in acquiring an MLB team and claims the Rays deal is practically dead. Shows how woeful the info source is there. Yeah, listen, Mike Bianchi, the famous Orlando columnist, writing columns, all the Orlando media talking about, listen, I do hits over there for Fox 35 all the time. And I keep trying to tell him it's not happening. It's not happening in Orlando. But they're dreamers and they want to dream, and it's not happening. You can, print all the plastic car magnets you want. It ain't going to get it done.
That's why the name Orlando Dreamers is so appropriate.
Right. Kurt says only market to never host an all-star game, Tampa Bay, for all those who think the Trop is just fine. Imagine the beauty of Tampa Bay being showcased to national audiences. I love the idea of a boat parade for the red carpet. That was
funny, yeah.
So, yeah, you have everybody on the side, like we have our boat parades. Everybody comes downtown. They could go to the convention center, and then get on trolley cars and take them to Raymond, or take them to the ballpark, or they could, sail up Julian B. Lane, get off at that park where all the fans greet them and have a red carpet there, and then get into the trolleys, and that takes them to the, as a parade down Columbus to the baseball stadium. Yeah. Yeah. That's what we're doing. Wesley says, another question is, when the vote passes, if they pass, how soon will construction begin? Q4. And that gives you 31 months to get the stadium done, which is the timeline for the Texas Stadium, the Atlanta Stadium, and the A's Stadium. So it is doable, but got to get the deal passed in August. That's why the timeline is so important. What else we got here? Joe Dembrowski says protecting the taxpayer is the ultimate goal for any infrastructure project, regardless of what it is. And I think you can hear from all three men today how important it was to protect the taxpayer in this deal. And that's the brilliance of the Hillsborough College model. You take underutilized land that's been a drain on the taxpayer that nobody can develop on because the college is there. You bring a baseball team in. You need a project this big to displace the college and replace it with other revenue that's going to come in. Where are you going to find an entity that's going to bring 9 billion people a year to your city to spend money? The baseball team. That's why when Andy Scaglione says, well, I'm a developer, why don't I get all this subsidy? Well, Andy, it's because you don't own a Major League Baseball team and you're not bringing them to town that's going to bring all this revenue in. You're a developer. That's great. You buy the property, you develop it, you sell it, you make money. But unless you're bringing a baseball team or a football team or basketball team or a theme park or something that's going to benefit the community, why should the community give you money? That's why it's different. And for you to say that land's worth $700 million like the Trop site because you want to tank the deal is ridiculous. I love you, Andy. You're a great dude, but that's just silly. It's just silly.
And Alan brought up a really good point that I don't think enough people realize or think about. How, the city can go build $100 million facility that's a city use facility that has zero benefit, zero revenue to the city. But you know what? You had to pay for it because you needed it. So how about maybe taking some of that money and and I know they need the infrastructure, right? That's going to happen. But why not also be able to build these other structures and facilities that are revenue generating for the city that help all of you? And I just don't understand people that don't get it.
It's like 95% of the money we spent, we get no direct return on the investment because it's just tax. It's things we need to build, like roads. I mean, you could say, well, we need roads to have, I get that. We need fire, we need safety. Yeah, but you're not getting a direct tax revenue benefit back. This you are. And it's bringing in more revenue. That's what makes it. That's why all these cities are dying to get baseball teams. I mean, figure it out, people. All right, what else we got here? Alex says, stop saying it will happen till shovels are in the dirt. Well, if you ask me, will it happen? I'm going to say it will happen. So people ask me for my confidence level, and that's so many other negative people out there. I got to be the bastion of optimism here. Yesterday 85 says, any updates on how MLB can help to get this deal done if need be? I saw Manfred recently said MLB was available to assist. They are. They give typically $100 million in some type of revenue to the teams, whether it's in revenue sharing or other ways to assist. And there's obviously a huge benefit in it for Major League Baseball. And I've said this for many, many months and months, that if the city doesn't want to participate and it's $180 million, MLB can certainly find that money somewhere over 30 years to get it done. So that's why the city's not going to be a killer for this deal. It's a good question from Brandon Gaston. Says, though the Rays guaranteeing a portion of team revenue, not tax revenue, that goes to the county regardless, that will be diverted by the team to the county for local needs as part of the community agreement. Well, if you look at the community benefits package, now if you're saying, what is team revenue? Like you talk about ticket sales, I believe there is a portion of the ticket sales that is going back to the city and county. I believe that's in the deal. I'm pretty sure. Also, there's TIF taxes, which money spent, in that area, a portion of it, like at the Battery, goes back to the city and the county. Some of it goes to the Rays, obviously, but there's a portion of it that will go back to the city and county to pay. So that's a yes. I'll let most of the revenue sources go to the Rays. Parking, the leasing of the apartments and all these other things, depending on who they sell it to or lease it to, that goes back. That's what generates the revenue to the team that they put back into the baseball team for payroll to hopefully get on par with the big boys. That's what the Braves did. That's the model. Joe says parking to me is the bigger key to start. You got to have garages ready to go. Listen, these are very smart men. They're going to make sure that people can park their cars. I don't understand why people get all hung up on this, with all due respect, Joe. Obviously, if you're going to build a project of this size, you're going to have ample parking. But you're also going to develop mass transit to alleviate some of your parking needs. That's the beauty of it, right?
Keep in mind, coming with those new parking garages and parking spots that they'll build for the stadium, probably looking at a $75 price tag to park too.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
Yeah.
By the way, which is revenue.
Yeah. But if the city and county builds some of these garages, then they keep the revenue.
Yep.
Orlando proposal yesterday said they're offering hundreds of millions in revenue sharing model for the county so they can use the county money for needs that a tourist development tax cannot be used for. Yeah. Listen, Orlando's got money. They got money. What they don't have is a fan base built up over 28 years. Yeah. And Major League Baseball knows that. It's a complete crapshoot if you go to Orlando. You don't know if fans are going to come out. You say that, we get 70 million visitors, they'll go to a baseball game. How do you know that? They ain't going to have any money left over once the mouse gets done with them. Who you kidding? It's an unproven fan market. Look at they have two professional teams. Well, I'm sorry. They have three professional teams, the women's soccer team, the men's soccer team, and the Magic. And typically the Magic have not drawn great. And the soccer teams aren't doing, they don't sell out every game. It's not like they're fan crazy over there. You're talking about 81 games. Hell, the Braves had spring training there. They left. They couldn't even keep a spring training team. Michael LaRue says, if the Times breaks the story that the stadium deal is officially done and not JP, this show or a guest on this show, I'll be very disappointed, but also really excited that's finally happening. Look, I hope I'm able to break that story, but I think the story is going to be broken when the vote is done. Once they hit the gavel, it's done. I mean, I think that's how it's going to go down, right?
You would think.
Yeah. If not, I better get that story. Damn right. Pooh Shicey says, forget the All-Star game. I'll be happy if we get Bert Kreischer stand-up special or a Peso Pluma concert.
You can do better than both of those things.
I think that was a joke. Joe says, great interview. Love the positivity. So important. Looking forward to the final vote date. All right. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Alex Nunn says, thank you, Babby, for turning the Rays around. Please don't let our Rays leave. We as Rays fans are still nervous. Listen, Ken Babby has done all he can. It's up to our county and city officials. You want to be morons like the folks in Chicago or in Dallas that let their guys, their teams leave downtown? You know, that's on your elected officials. And you still have time to email them and tell them to vote. Listen, I think the county's going to be good. I think the county vote's going to be good. The city vote would be nice to have. They're going to get this done. They're going to get it done, but we need to. It would be much nicer if the city could just vote for it and get it done. And I think they will. I do think in the end, it may not be Carlson. Hey, it may be Hertak. You know, because now Hertak may pivot and say, since Carlson is very anti-stadium, she'll pivot and go, well, I'm pro-stadium now. Who knows? But what you shouldn't be doing, either one of you, in my opinion, is playing politics with this deal. Look at the deal based on its merits and what it brings to your city. And that's where you should vote. Not because you want to position yourself different in the political mayoral race, which you're both going to lose anyway. Sorry to say. Yeah, you just are. And I would have, I don't know how you're a mayor of the city of Tampa and you don't champion this project. You really think you're going to appeal to voters?
That's shocking.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. I go on these neighborhood things, like I said, and there's a lot of negativity for people who have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think the vast majority of people, and the polls have shown this, that they support it, 60-40. Anything else? Casey Eagle, we haven't heard from you today, said, ask Ken if he asked MLB what it would take to host the All-Star game in a new stadium, if there's room for temporary additional seats to be added. Listen, we build this stadium, we're getting an All-Star game. You think, Rob Manfred has worked hard on this deal. 31,000 seats, we probably could put 35 in there. It's plenty. It's plenty.
And I would hazard a guess that once they make the announcement this thing is done, we begin construction on this date. We're expected to be ready for opening day 2029. Probably not long after that, you're going to get an announcement from MLB. And I don't know what the schedule is for All-Star games, how far out it goes. I think they've got them scheduled 5 years out. I would hazard a guess within a very close amount of time to the announcement of the stadium deal being done, you will get an announcement from Major League Baseball. Hey, MLB All-Star game coming to Tampa Bay in 2032, 2030, whatever it is.
Yeah, I would.
That's just how those things work.
That. Yeah, usually you get it year after you open up.
You're right.
So, yeah. Mike says, I can't believe we're still talking about this 65 years later. We're getting close, bro. Think how much open show time we're going to have, Timmy.
I don't know what we're going to talk about. Our show's going to go to 15 minutes long.
Kyle wanted me to ask if they're planning on moving the neon Tropicana sign to the new stadium. If Tropicana going to be the sponsor, yeah. I don't think they will be, though. I've heard of some other companies that are very interested, and it's not going to be Tropicana Field. Very interested in putting their name on the ballpark.
Welcome to the new JP Peterson Show Stadium.
Yeah, there you go. All-Star Game pirate entrances. Let's go. Yeah, we could do that too. All-Stars on a boat.
Look at what they did with the Winter Classic.
Yeah.
Think about an All-Star game, an MLB All-Star game, kind of with that same theme.
Go Millionaire says, if City Council doesn't vote yes on 3.5% of the total cost of the project, I've lost faith in our city. No, think about this. That's just cost of the ballpark.
Yeah.
Cost of the project is $8 to $10 billion, and we're asking for $180 million. And they still can't. Some of them still can't get there. What a joke. If any, but you think you're surviving the election by doing this? Hey, Douglas Batista's a new member. Welcome, Douglas. Dun, 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 dun. We appreciate that. Danny Boy says, hopefully Eileen Rodriguez defeats Wostall in November. Yeah. I think you could run a raccoon and beat Wostall. But no offense to Miss Rodriguez. I didn't mean it that way.
Wow.
But yes, congratulations on your new seat. I need to get her on the show. Absolutely. Bella Bell says, congratulations, JP, for Real 100. You've definitely been a crusader for this cause. Listen, I appreciate it. It's just, and it has nothing to do with the Rays ownership group. It's about what's best for Tampa Bay. And I still see people, jackasses on social media going, he's definitely on the Rays payroll. He's definitely on the Rays payroll. And you know that how. You know. Kurt says, Ken Babby showing some teeth. I like it. I can already see TBT twisting his words into a soon-to-be-released article for today. Well, then they might have to quote this show, and I don't think they'll do that.
I don't think they want to do that.
They've done it a couple times, but I'll give them credit for that. Yeah, Kurt said Hertak was quoted as saying she's happy if Tampa is left out. She just wants to plant trees and stunt Tampa's growth. I think she may be closer to being on the positive side of this, and you might be surprised in the end that she votes for it. So I would highly recommend, because listen, if you're like Hertak, I don't even want to talk about Charlie, which is weird, but those people that have voted are going to vote against it. Your points have been known by the public now that you don't want to use CIT money or whatever, you're against it. I think if you come out and say, look, I did my best, but in the end, I think this is going to be good for the city, so I'm on board. Dudes, do that. Your constituents know that you fought the good fight, but you finally came to the realization of what's going to be best for them. And I think that's okay. Kurt says, Allen is the best. He works with some who get it and some who just don't. Progress is a train. And in the caboose is those who don't want to move. If only we could just pull the pin and let the caboose go. That's called an election, so you can do that.
Yeah, you can.
All right. Hey, listen, thank you guys. Alex Nunn, who's also a new member, thank you very much. Said exactly all these effers bitching aren't saying a word about Bucks who want another handout for effing renovation. I'm confused at the hate for this project. Yep. Again, I would challenge anybody to watch this show and walk away still opposing it. I would. And if you put your comments in here, let us know why you still do that. All right, that'll do it for us. I'm off on my birthday weekend. Thank you for all the birthday wishes. Appreciate you guys. Forever in debt to Ken Hagan, Ken Babby, Alan Clendenin, and all you Petermans who commented today. I think you have made this show the show of record, which is what we were trying to do today. We have now created a 2-hour plus magazine that anybody who wants to find out the information and what's really going on in this deal and have their questions answered, here it is. So please share it with any of the detractors that share it all over your social media, and we'd really appreciate that. Like and subscribe. Please become a member on our YouTube channel. That is VI Peterman or Peterman. We appreciate you guys, as always, chiming in today because you make a big part of it. This is, as the owners have told me, our show has been a huge driver into them buying this team and getting this stadium deal done. So Petermans, be proud. And thank you, Ken Babby, for a shout out to our Petermans. Have a great weekend, everybody. Go Rays this weekend. Go Jackson. Jackson Suber, 6 under par at the Open. Watch him all weekend long. Palmacia Plant High School's own. We'll be rooting for you all weekend long, and we're going to have him on the show hopefully next week, win or lose. So go get him, Jackson. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Happy birthday, JP!
Thank you, Timmy.